Planet Dolan. Who filed a restraining order against God? Why would someone want a restraining order against trimming their hedges? Here are 10 of the most unusual restraining orders people have ever gotten or tried to get. I'm Danger Dolan, and today I will be your narrator. Number 10. It's not terribly surprising to hear of a couple breaking up and the ex-girlfriend filing a restraining order against the man in the relationship, especially if the relationship was abusive. But that wasn't that. In this case, the ex-girlfriend filed a restraining order against a dog named Rocco, and at a routine traffic stop, that man was found with a pit bull named Rocco in the car. Why she set that particular restraining order, we may never know, but the man violated it, so he was arrested, put in the back of a cruiser, and booked at the station. Number 9. In 2015, one of the biggest events in sports was the boxing match between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. So as with any major sporting event, illegal streaming sites started working overtime to set up feeds of the event. Some were even dumb enough to advertise they were going to be streaming the fight. Those sites had a court restraining order put on them, basically shutting them down for the duration of the fight. But the ruling didn't apply to just them, it applied to each and every one of the defendants and their agents, servants, employees, officers, attorneys, successors, licensees, partners, and any and all service providers who received notice of this order. So basically everyone on Earth, even people not involved in the case. Probably you too. Number 8. At some point, lots of teenagers have probably thought about getting a restraining order to keep their nosy parents away, but Aubrey Ireland actually filed for one, and got one when she was 21. Her parents had installed tracking and keylogging software on her computer and cell phone to track her every movement and conversation, and frequently drove 600 miles to visit her at college unannounced. When they got there, they would accuse her of drug use, promiscuity, and mental illness. The parents had become such a problem, the college hired security guards to keep them away from Aubrey's performances. And when Aubrey cut off contact with them, the college responded by giving her a full scholarship for her final year. Number 7. Natalie Nash got a restraining order against her husband Daniel in 2010, and the restraining order was neither strange nor unjustified. Daniel was being abusive and the couple had split up. Natalie didn't want her abusive ex anywhere near her, and for good reason. But the strange part of the story comes years later, 2013. Natalie and Daniel Nash went to court to lift a restraining order. They wanted to give their marriage another chance. But even though they both wanted to lift it, the judge denied their request, saying they needed to prove that they could get along via phone and text communication first. My advice for the judge, install tracking and keylogging software on their computers and cell phones. That'll go over real well. Number 6. Most of the time, you'll likely think your restraining orders are something to keep people away from other people, right? Well, Susan Sheldrick was taken to UK court for noise pollution and obsessive cutting of garden hedges. Apparently, Sheldrick and her neighbours had a falling out, and Sheldrick responded by using her noisy electric hedge trimmers nearly every day, sometimes for almost 18 hours a day. So the neighbours took her to court to stop the madness. Sheldrick was slapped with a restraining order stating she could only trim her hedges a maximum of once per month. Number 5. In 2010, a Florida man said he feared for his life when 3 people flashed gang signs at him. Those people were then President Barack Obama, former Florida Gators quarterback Tim Tebow, and Jesus Christ himself. The only common thread between them is that they're all very famous and very Christian. So maybe the gang sign was prayer hands? He filed for a restraining order against all 3. The judge, of course, turned down the request. Yeah, I hate when I'm walking down the street and Muhammad Ali gives me the finger, man. I wish he would stop. Number 4. Just because Bill Nye is good at science doesn't mean he's good at everything. I mean, just watch his new show. One day, the science guy surprised his girlfriend, Blair Tyndall, with a wedding. A huge extravagant wedding, except that it wasn't legally binding in the state of California, and they were never actually married. So they called the whole thing off, deciding that maybe it wasn't such a good idea after all. Shortly after, Tyndall dumped a bottle of something toxic in Nye's garden. Tyndall said it was a weed killer, but Nye suspected it was poison and took a restraining order against the woman he tried to marry, but didn't. Well, at least he's good at science. Number 3. An 8-year-old boy was in school when a sheriff's deputy came to his class and pulled him out. The officer served the 3rd grader a restraining order, courtesy of his neighbors from down the street. The order stemmed from a dispute between different families in the neighborhood. Under the terms of the order, if the 8-year-old boy came within 1,000 feet of the other kids in the neighborhood, he could be arrested. That included at the school. So the order basically barred him from attending class. Suffice to say, this 8-year-old boy didn't know what the fuck was going on. Number 2. Some people pray for divine intervention. One Israeli man took God to court for interfering in his life. I think we can all relate to that. Apparently, God hadn't been dealing this guy the best of luck, and so he sought a restraining order against God in hopes he would just, leave the guy alone. As you might expect, the judge threw the request out almost immediately. After all, God didn't even show up to the court hearing or employ a lawyer, as usual. Number 1. G.B. White may well take home the prize for most bizarre court filing of all time. Never mind restraining order. This man demanded a restraining order against famous UFC fighter Ronda Rousey for a variety of reasons that gradually move into tinfoil hat territory. First, he asserts that Rousey is a man, she, and the UFC are covering up her gender. And then it gets real weird. He claims to possess the only copy of a sex tape between Rousey and fellow UFC fighter John Bones Jones. He also claims to have evidence that Rousey bought steroids from Barry Bonds, had sex with Alex Rodriguez, and is secretly the son of porn star legend Ron Jeremy. He says her real name is Ronald Rousey, and that he can prove it because he has her birth certificate for some reason. The best part? The entire complaint was handwritten on 2 sheets of notebook paper. What? Did you know that we have a countdown book featuring some of our best scripts on sale now? Links down below for the physical and ebook versions. That is it for this countdown. Have a good one!